So this little area that we're trying to do for our neighbour here, he had quite a lot of blackgrass issues with it, and what we did is the first year we came in, we ploughed it down to try and plough this blackgrass down, because it's a very pernicious weed. It costs a lot of chemical to try and keep on top of it, and it's actually quite resistant to a lot of the chemicals we use. So that's the chemicals are a last resort for us. So what we try to do is bury those seeds deep as we could with the plough, and then we haven't done anything to it cultivation wise since. So we've just every year since, for the last 3 years, we've just direct drilled the crop to try and prevent disturbing any of the seeds that are buried. That's worked actually very well. We haven't seen any return of the blackgrass, but unfortunately, because there aren't any drains in this land, it's got very, very wet. We've had 2 very wet winters in a row, and because the land hasn't got any drains in it, it holds that water, lays very, very wet all the time, and we can't actually get it to dry out well enough now to get a crop in. So what we've decided to do this spring is something that we've never really done before, but we've gone through with a very deep cultivation. There are some drains in it, but we don't know where they are. There are no maps. So we don't want to mess up that drainage system. So we've made a cultivation tool which goes in around about 16 inches deep, and just a single tine with nothing else on it, because we don't want to lift the soil and create any more damage to it. We just want to literally just cut a deep tine through and try to shift the water from the top of the field down to 16 inches below, and it can sit down there and supply the crop throughout the spring, hopefully. So we've done that, and that's worked quite well, and now we're going through with a pigtail cultivator, because we've got these lines you can see here behind me, and we're just trying to basically chip the rest of it up, and I'll just show you some of the soil here. So this is what the surface looked like. You can see how the rain over the winter has just panned it all down, and if you look really closely here, I think you can see that, hopefully. I'll turn to the lights a little better. It's sort of gone very green grey, just where the weight of the water, and it hasn't had any cultivations on it, and it's just gone sad, and you're not going to be able to grow a crop in this. But underneath, it's actually quite friable underneath once we get below that layer. So we've gone through here. Ollie's gone through with a deep tine. So we've got a slot in here that's 16 inches deep, and they're every sort of 1.5 meters apart. So that's trying to shift most of the water down away from the surface. And then what we're doing here with the little pigtail cultivator is just loosening the rest of the soil in between, just to try and loosen this damage. And it's actually ideal, because what I don't want to do, if we move the entire soil profile, we end up with a very loose mess, and then when we drive a tractor over that very loose soil, we just compact it back down again. The pigtail cultivator is actually doing a very good job, because we've got a little bit here that isn't moved, so that's retaining some of the inherent structure in the land. But hopefully what we'll be able to do is just get a nice day of 22 degrees. They talk about some sunshine on this today, and then we're going to come in with the old worm killer power harrow and fine it down, and then we can hopefully drill it with spring barley, which is exactly what we did to its neighbouring field. We did this last week because this was a little bit drier, so we were able to get on it a little bit sooner. But you can see that this has come down very well. So we went across with a power harrow, got a nice seed bed, and then drilled it, sowed it with spring barley, and rolled it down. And hopefully, I can find down here, here's some barley seed. So this was drilled a couple of days ago, so it's not quite shot yet. Ooh. But hopefully in a few days' time we'll see some shoots on there, because there's still moisture down here, so it's absolutely ideal. If we move the entire soil surface, if we ploughed that land, for instance, we moved every single piece of soil, it would all just dry out to about 9 inches deep, and then there's not a lot of rain forecast, and we can't get a crop in the ground. So hopefully we'll keep you posted, but this is working quite well. We're just back on this field where we had a bit of a problem with a very wet field, and we'd pulled it up, if you remember, And now we're now drilling it. We've got a seed bed. We power harrowed the Ollie was going through with a pigtail last time. We power harrowed it to get a seed bed, and now we're going in with the drill. Ollie's having his first experience on a seed drill, and it's doing a pretty good job. It's a good versatile drill. This we can go direct into cover crops, direct into bare stubble, and it's pretty good into cultivated ground as well. What we've done is obviously we've got a bit of a seedbed. It's not a perfect seedbed by any stretch of the imagination, but it's covering the seed up, and that's the main thing. I'll just have a little scrap in here so you can see some of the lines where the seed has gone. But it's down here, look, and it's nice and moist down here. You can see the seed. What we'll do after we've finished, we'll come in here with a rib roller, run the rolls over the top of it, and that'll just finish it off nicely and put all the seeds to bed, and that'll grow. We're using a class Arian 650 tractor here. It's about 180 horsepower. It's a good match for the drill. It doesn't take a huge amount of pulling, but it is very heavy. We've got some quite steep hills here, so when we're going up the hill, we just need that power to be able to drag the heavy drill up the field, because it weighs nearly 10 tonne when it's full of seed. We've got a front weight on the front there, on the front linkage. We've got a weight with a box in it with various spares for the drill. That helps balance the tractor. And Ollie's just coming towards us here. You can see big flotation wheels on the drill. They're not taking a huge amount of weight. Some of the weight is on the coulters, and that noise like an aeroplane is the fan, and the fan blows the seed down this tube. It's being metered out, and it gets blown through this tube into that mushroom, which is a distributor, and then it distributes all the seed evenly down those pipes and into those coulters, and then that little tyre behind presses the top down and puts it to bed.